Good afternoon, everybody. Here we are again, Friday, 27th of August. My husband has just been waving at us all from across the room over there. So he's got lots of work to do, so I'm trying to keep him out of trouble. Whether that's going to work, I'm not quite sure.
Anybody want IKEA putting together?
He's got plenty to do. So what we're going to go for today, I thought we'd have a relaxing today. I do like the tiles that you've been doing from Wednesday, and I love Louise's, who did the circle. If you've not seen it, have a look on the Sanntangle, and she's actually done a whole circle frame using the tile that we did, the design. So, all right, let's see what you can come up with today using this. What have I got then? Regular cream tile, my pen, pencil, tortillon, and I do have my watercolor metallic kois with me today. So it doesn't matter if you've not got watercolors, it really doesn't. You can still use your pastels, your colored pencils, whatever you like. But I do think now and again it's really nice, isn't it, just to sort of bring those in, just in case you're not sure how to use them. So, all right, are we ready? Oh, brilliant. Okay, so I'm just going to start so you can see the whole tile. And I think I'm not going to come in with a border just yet. I think I'm going to go straight in with pen. How exciting is that? All right. Deep breath. We've got this. It's not going to be tricky. Honestly, we're going to be fine today. Okay. Oh, look at that. It's like two little eyes peering over, isn't it? Bless. Okay. So I'm going to start. Now, it doesn't matter where you start in here, but don't go too small with this, especially if you're thinking of using the watercolours, because we want a little bit of an area to work in, okay? So I'm going to just draw in there a little teardrop shape. There we go. Okay, so you see it is quite sort of large. Yeah, crisp. We're relaxed. It's all good. Okay. And then I'm going to do two more of these, so it sort of looks like I've got three going together. There's the other one. And then sort of centralise it a little bit, maybe. It doesn't have to be, but there we go. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm just going to make it a little bit larger then so we can see what I'm doing now. Oh, Lynn, don't worry about it. Honestly, I mean, if all else fails, you can find a little bit you like and colour over the rest or cut it out. Just be amazed at what you can do. I remember being in school and working with students, and it was always well, you use a pencil to draw with and a pen to write with. The amount of times the kids used to come in and they didn't have a pencil, so we used to just draw with whatever they'd got in their hands. And some of the ideas that they produced, they'd like, well, I would have rubbed that out if I was in pencil because it's no good, miss. And you think, well, actually, if you look at it a bit closer, it's pretty good. So we kept a lot of ideas, and they were very instant when we used a pen, and we didn't have the chance to rub it out. So there we go, okay? So I've just auraed on the inside there. Okay, and now again, it doesn't matter which side you work. I'm going to sort of work on the right and work my way round, but if you want to do it this way, that's absolutely fine. You can do that. Okay, so I'm just going to come on in here and I'm just going to put a little curve in. It's sort of going to touch that bottom section there, okay? And then I'm not going to fill it with colour today. I'm just going to come on in and put some lines in. Now, of course, you know that the closer your lines get, the more shady it looks. If you put the lines quite wide apart, you're not going to get as much depth, so you might want to do something a little bit, a little bit closer. Okay, so then in we go again. I've got one more. Again, oh, look, there's that little eye again watching. Could be a little bird. And again, if you want to do it the other side, or you want to fill this with bubbles, you can. I'm going to use lines in a few places today, so just be aware of that. And then, of course, bubbles are going to come in as well. There we are. So, don't these weeks fly by? It's August is almost finished. I can't believe how quickly it goes. And you think, well, where did we have the sunshine? We had a few, but we didn't have like weeks of it, did we? No. We can't complain. There we are. Okay. Next thing then. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bring a line from there. You see, so sort of from there. I'm going to go a bit more into there. So it looks like it's going underneath. There you are. Oh, yeah, Rose, I did. Thank you. Yeah, all sorted. All sorted. Okay. And you see, each time I do this, it's getting a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to go through and underneath that bit. But while I'm here, I'm just going to add 2 or 3 lines. You see on the top? See, that one's a bit longer than those two. They get smaller as we go along. I'm just following that curve. Just sort of working my way down those edges. You see? Okay, so let's do this next one. So again, up and around, just sort of follow that shape. We've got that first one going on. Oh, Sally, that sounds nice. That's going to be lovely, isn't it? We're going to be bringing Seth and Benji to the office next weekend, you know, because we don't want them to be on their own all day, and it'd be nice for you guys if you're coming over to meet them, so that'd be good. I mean, as you know, Friday we've got a closed event. It has to be that way. I've sent invites out, so if you can let me know if you're okay. I do have one space left, one space for Friday night, if you can make it. It's going to be a fantastic time. We're going to have a lovely class and a little bit to eat and things. And of course, please make sure if you've got an invite and you come in that you bring it with you, or at least you've got it on your phone, because John's going to have to sort of be there on the door. And I'm so sorry if anybody turns up and you don't have an invite, because of restrictions and just allowing so many people in. We won't let anybody in unless you're on the list. So yeah, not at all, Sally, not at all. It's not, you're not. You're going to be the first to see it, so that'd be nice. All right, so there we go. We've got this sort of lovely little sort of design going on. I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to add another one. I'm saying add another one. I'm just going to add, I'm going to add another one here, but I'm not going to think about exactly the same size. This one's going to sort of work along. And then this way. Okay. And then same again, I'm going to aura on the inside. You see that one's, even though it's going behind, we're going to sort of imagine that it's working there. Okay. That's it. And then as before, let's put this line in, and I'm going to come on in with filling that space in. Okay. It does a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, it does look a bit shell-like. We'll see what it looks like when we've added a little bit of colour to it in a short while. Okay. Oh, Chris. She'll always come back. Yeah. I had to pay somebody once that she was kidnapped, and they were like, you've got to pay this much. And I was like, yeah, okay. Really? And then they were like, no, we'll just bring her back. She was obviously getting into too much trouble. And they're like, no, we don't want anything. We're just going to drop her back off. And she came back, so there's no worries there. Okay. She's not listening at the minute. She's she's doing the post. So, yeah. Oh, hard life. Here we go. just again putting those 3 little lines in there. There's something really nice about going back in and just adding those little bits. Just makes the difference. You see how it gives it that little bit of dimension without even adding any pencil to it. Okay. See, and that's going to sort of all be hidden in there. And we're going to see a few bits. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, Julie, do you know what? I think we know each other that well now. She would have expected it. And she knows I don't mean it. She knows I love her very much. Okay. I always get jokes. They always pick on me because they're taller. Between her and John. So, yeah. You know, it's a case that, you know, you've got to, if you give it, you've got to take it. So, yeah, we do have quite a bit of banter going on around here. Okay. All right. So again, I'm doing another one of these like sets of 3. And then, same as before, put that line in. And I'm just going to fill it in. Something about, again, I love bubbles, but filling something with lines is kind of nice as well. It's almost secure, isn't it? You feel like you're secure in this because there's no right or wrong. So even if I go up bank, actually, I prefer to come down bank. I find that they're a little bit straighter. Okay. And then we go that way. Yeah, no, definitely prefer it that way. There we go. Okay. So up and around, just as before. Each one getting a little bit smaller. Okay. And then in. There we go. And along there. If you can't get 3 lines in, don't worry about it. 2's fine. Just fill it in with whatever you can. And again, just working my way around each one. And then again. There we go. See, I'm getting a couple in there. Okay, so that's the next one. Okay. And in and around. There we go. Okay, so next one. It's just adding these little lines in. Okay, it's not looking too bad at all, this. Let's do another. Okay. I notice each time I'm doing it, I'm not doing the same size. And I'm just sort of choosing a space. I'm not worried if it's going underneath or it's next to another one. It really doesn't matter. It's just one of those things. It's wherever it lands. There we go. Same with this one. See, that's going to go underneath slightly. There we are. See, that feels weird. I feel like I've got to try it now because I prefer it going down bank. I've got to try it going up bank as well. I'm sure you have your favourite way. Okay, and there we go, along that one. And then around, and again creating that little loop there. And then let's just follow it round. And again, those little lines. There we go. To the next one. Oh, that's good there. We're getting the hang of it. It's sometimes it's nice to do a bit of a repetitive pattern. It can you just sort of get the hang of it, and then it's amazing what you can do with it. So it'll still fit into frames and borders, or you can do a whole design like this. It's Lots of different things you can do with it, as you've been doing on Facebook. God, I know. He tried to sneak in, but he can't. We know he's here. There you go. See, I'm just going to squeezing that one in on there. And round we go. Same as before. And again, you might decide that you don't want to do this pattern. You might want to do something completely different in these. That's going to change it up a little bit. I know, they're great, aren't they? Those two little eyes. It's like peeking through. Oh dear. Didn't plan it that way. There's another one here, look. Look, little nose. Yeah, this is my board with my dragon on and my little totem poles. My main board is safely at home. Yeah. And onto this one. Okay, and in we go. So just filling that in as before. And then, I'm going to start from this one. Round we go as before. Just sort of working it round. There we go. And again, still putting those in. And that one, it's going to go slightly off the tile, but that's okay. Maybe I wanted to extend it a little bit later. There we are. I did, Rose. It just appeared. I went into my craft room this particular day, and there it was on my desk. So my only sort of conclusion is that I'd obviously picked it up with something, and then obviously been messing about with something later on and left it there as I picked something else up. That's how it sort of ended up. Okay, let's have a look at this. All right, I think I'm going to do another. I'm going to do another one. Not too big, so let's have a look. I'm going to put it here. Just one a little bit smaller. There we go. I don't want to sort of have it so it's too symmetrical. Sanntangle do have names. Some of them other people make up, some of them I make up, and some of them are the traditional Sanntangle names. But, because we're doing it live, I don't want to, upset or breach any copyrights, which is why I don't tend to use the names. But they are there. You can search different tangles and find that. There we go. So just as before, that was a little bit smaller. There we go. And this one. Okay. You just adding that in. That's kind of cute, isn't it? This little one like this. Might have to add it. I might have to add a few more, depends on what else. Was you going to add another one? That's lovely, I like that. Okay. So, let's go a bit small. Let's have a look at this. All right, like that. So we've got sort of, it's a random, it's not sort of one in each corner. We've got a little bit of a random sort of space. So let's have a look here then. Okay, so I've got a little bit of a gap here, so I'm just going to put some bubbles into that. Let's just reinforce them. See, if I go round it a couple of times, it's just going to look a little bit heavier. Yeah, there we are. Again, just a little bit in here. They're great because if you've got a bit of a shaky hand and you think, oh, I don't quite like the lines I've done there, you can bring bubbles in. It looks great. And again, just a few here. There we go. And again, I might just add a couple, just sort of on this bit here. And in here. There we go. Just sort of Might come back and add to those just in a short while, but for now I'm just going to put a few in where I think I want to put them. There we are. Okay. Okay, so let's have a look then. Our next little bit, I want some of these larger spaces here because I want to just extend it a little bit. Here we go. So I'm going to just come from this side here, bring it up and round. And I'm going to do quite a little bit of a blob on the end and come back quite thin, if at all possible. There we are. And then let's do another one. There we go. See there? And again, I'm just going to sort of continue it on the same line. And then let's do another. That's quite small there, but that's great. Okay. And then again, I'm just going to, in that gap there, look, I'm just going to add some little bubbles. See how they get smaller each time? Same with this one. Just, reinforcing that little shape. Just quite small there. Okay. And then up and around. You see, coming back down quite thin. There we are. And then let's do another one. And then another. So that's just going to go underneath that bubble. And then bubbles just sort of getting smaller and smaller on each of those. You see, on each of those little curves there. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to bring a little line up and put a little droplet on the end. Alright, and let's do another. I can get another one in. You see again, it's sort of getting smaller as we work our way down. There we go. See, I might put one in there. There we go. Alright. So see if we've got space to do another one of those. Let's bring it in here. So let's go up back here. So in. It's going to go underneath that slightly. Back down quite thin. There we are. And same again. Just in we go. And don't think you've got to do them as quick as that. You can take your time with them. I just find them sometimes, you know, my pace I know is a little bit quick, but there we go. Okay. And same again here. Keeping it quite thin. There we go. Alright. And into the next one. Okay. And sort of adding those little bubbles in. Same again. There we go. And again. And then of course let's bring that one back up. Bobble. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's have a look at that. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to get another one in, I think, here. Let's have it from here. There we go. And in we go. Okay. And the next. Okay. And again. So you can do these as large or small as you want to do. It's entirely up to you. But it depends on your space, and you can do it just with two on, or you could do it with more. It's entirely up to you. There we go. See, and just sort of add in those bubbles. There we are. And then let's just put those in there. And again, as many or as few as you want. You can put bubbles on the end, you can colour them in if you like. What do you want to do? See, it's growing quite nicely, isn't it? Okay, I think, yeah, I'm going to get another one. Now, if I was to put another one here, you see that you've sort of got one on each side, and that's going to sort of like even it up, and it's going to look like you've planned it. So I think what we'll do is we'll bring another one out. From here, we've got space here. So it's going to sort of cross in and around. Now, of course, if that's what you want to do and have one on each side, but I don't want it to look too sort of symmetrical. There we are. See, and just sort of do the same thing, but you see how it's sort of going underneath? There we go. That one's going to hide under there. I think Dobby's in my kitchen breaking the pots and pans. Oh dear. He was assigned washing up duty. Perhaps, yeah. Told him he couldn't use his wand. Okay. And there we are. See, that felt a bit weird. I'm now in the case that I'm trying things upside down or a different way to how I'd normally draw them, just to sort of see how it would go. Okay. You see, I've got these gaps. I'm just going to come on in and fill them in with bubbles. I'm not going to go crazy and wild all the way up, but just sort of in the gaps there. And then, you know, as we tend to have them so they start to cascade out and go on their merry little way. Yeah. So, have a few here too. Okay, now I think on this one, I'm just going to bring out a little curl. So it looks like we've got a little bit of a starting point. I'm going to draw that again a bit larger. There we are. So it's just like a little curl, one side and the other. And then line in the middle, just one of those. Maybe you could put 3. That looks better. See, there's not a name for that tangle because I just made it up. All right. Okay, kind of nice that. So here again, look, just add in a couple of little bubbles there. Okay, there. Of course, coming round to this side, just gonna fill a bit in there. There we go. Okay, you see it's not completely filled, it's just, you know, they look like they're sort of in a queue, ready to sort of break out. Yeah, right, and a few sort of in there. Okay, let's have a look at this then. All right, so far so good. That's not looking too bad at all. So here we go. I'm just going to put my border in now, and I'm going to make it a little bit further in than I normally. Normally it's about here, but I'm going to come in, I think, a little bit more than normal. And then anything that looks like it's going underneath, there we are. Sorry, Alicia. I've got another one here, look. There. I don't want to cover him up now, look. Oh, dear me. It's nice to see other people's boards, actually. Cause, you know, and if you come into a class next weekend, then please bring your boards. That would be fantastic if you've got one. And then it'd be nice to sort of, you know, have a look and see what everybody's sort of doing. Okay, so we've got that sort of border inside there. And then I'm gonna fill in this space here with more lines. So if we've got any bubbles, that's fine. I'm just gonna pretend that these lines are going underneath. And see, keeping them quite narrow still. Now, I sort of encourage you not to use a ruler for this because you sort of lose that pace. And they don't all have to be the same. So I'm just sort of working in a similar direction, yeah? So same with that one, like being that I'm here. There we go. Okay. And then see this one here, rather than go at that angle, I'm going to come down this way. So it almost looks like I'm working towards a sort of a centerpiece. There we go. See, just going to fill in lines that way. And because they're kind of really narrow, it doesn't mean you've got to sort of get them all even. There we are. So just sort of adding in. There we are. So you see, so it doesn't matter that they go in different ways. It's just about adding that touch of in little bits in. So here you're not going to see much at all, just a little bit there. Okay. Of course, if you wanted to fill it in completely, then go ahead. If you want to actually colour it in solid, you could do that too. I think that always looks really good, very dramatic, and then you can come on in and add a little bit of white to it if you've used a black pen, and that always looks nice. Looks like you've sort of almost cut it out and stuck it on, and a black background, which is kind of cool. There we go. So I'm just going to fill that bit, and then here we go, just in with that bit. There we go. All right. Okay, so here we go. We've got something to sort of work with now. It's I kind of like that. I am going to bring my pencil in just for now, my tortillon, because I still want to add a little bit of shadow, and that's purely just going to be around the outside of these sort of shapes, and I'm going to fill in all the way up to my border there. And again, depends on which tile you've got as to how hard you want to press on. I say if you've got a super smooth tile, you want to be sort of building up the shadow, so you might want to be a little bit lighter and do it in sort of 2 goes, whereas if you've got a regular tangle tile, or if you've got one of the new native tiles, they are a little bit more, got a little bit of a tooth to them maybe, so it sort of takes pencil just a little bit better if you want to be heavy with it. There we are. See, so just sort of around those shapes. I'm not going to go massively into there, so you've got something around. So in with my tortillon, and I'm just going to soften it up a little. I'm just going to try and leave a little bit of sort of white in the middle if I can, you know, just to give that little bit of a highlight there. Oh, let's do this bit as well. There we go. You know, so what do you think of the new colour? Yeah, we thought we'd, you know, jazz things up a little bit. We've got new pencils. I have actually got white pencils in now, so we're going to sort of launch them next week. So that's going to be good. There we are. And, we've got some nice new bits and pieces for creating craft on the 6th. So that's going to be quite a busy weekend, and then doing creating craft as well on the Monday. It's going to be, yeah, but you know, we live on the edge. We've got this. There we go. Okay. So you've got a bit of pencil. See, it's just sort of started the background in there. So what I want to do now is I'm going to come in with a bit of pencil. Now I've got my water brush, but just because it's a water brush doesn't mean you have to have water in this section. You don't have to. I've actually got a little pot, a pot of water, just clean water. I've got a little paper towel, and I've got my paints. Here we go. There we go, my paints. So I'm just going to leave them to the side, because, I mean, you've seen them before. You've got the neons there, the pearlescence, and your metallic colours there. The white's lovely, actually. It works really nice on coloured tiles. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to bring that in. I'm going to go a bit larger, just so you can see what I'm doing there, okay? I'm going to start with this biggest one here. I'm going to dip my brush in the water, okay? So I've got, here we go, I've got a bit of water on there. You can see I've got water on. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create sort of like a well in there. Oh, sorry, in that bit there, you see? Now if I just hold that up a bit, hang on a second. There you go, you see I've got water in it. Okay. And while I'm at it, I'm going to bring in water in this one. There we go. And in this one. And because that's sort of an inside section, I want to go a little bit darker in a sense. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to dry my brush off. So it's very sort of almost dryish. And then I'm just going to mix it in the water. So what we're going to go with, I'm going to go with one of the sort of the purpley colours. Here we go. So there's my purpley colour. It's not too wet, but if I actually just touch it in there, you see how it's sort of, I know the water's drying a little bit. See how it sort of starts to want to take colour into that water. Now the trick is at this point people think, oh, I'm just going to like swoosh it round, rinse your brush off. So again, I've just got a clean brush. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to help it move a little, you see? So I'm just sort of almost dabbing it and giving it that chance to move. Let's dry the brush again. I don't want to colour the whole thing, you see? I'm actually on purpose leaving. There you are. See how I've just touched that and it's moving? There we go. Okay. But dry it off again. I don't want to colour the whole thing. I want to leave some of that white. There we go. All right, I'll take that into... And I'm going to leave it at that. At this point, you could put salt on it if you want to. But I'm not going to do that today. But what I am going to do... Now, you could do these in different colours. I think what I'm going to do... yeah, I might do different colours. So my next job, clean water again. And this time, I'm actually going to do all of them. There we go. Just going to fill all of them in. There we go. I'm just going to do one at a time because I know the water's drying a bit. And until you actually do anything with this, you don't really know how your water's going to go. So here we go. I've got some of that really bright pink on now. And let's touch it in there. So you see what it's doing? It sort of starts to want to work its way up. So again, I'm going to dry the brush off because there's already water there. And I'm just going to touch it in. There we go. Okay, now if I wanted to bring in a different colour, so maybe I think, oh, I want a darker colour, maybe some of that purple in. I've dried my brush again, gone into the colour, and I'm just going to add it in there now. Because if I dry my brush again, look, I'm just going to leave it. All right, that's the thing. It is, Lynn, that is the neon pink. It's number 267 in the pot. And I've added the little magenta is 269. So again, a bit of water. Now, if you find that your colours aren't moving, that's because you've not got enough water on. Again, because I've put water on that now, you see again, it's got, you see it's shine a bit. Won't quite do it. Oh, there you go, see? It's got some water on it. And then dry your brush before you go into your colour. So you've got pure colour on there. And then you see, drop it in and it moves. And then say that the trick is not to colour the whole thing. You see, I've done some of it. Then again, look, I'm just going to dry it on there. And then I'm just going to touch the edges. So it sort of blends and fades. And then a bit of that darker magenta. So again, it's pure pigment in the middle. Okay, you see how it's just sort of running? Just let it do its thing. So you see it's all still a bit wet, but I'm going to leave it. On to the next. Yeah, a bit more in there. So again, nice clean water. And there we go, in with this one there. Dry it off. Now this works the same with any watercolour paints that you've got. I mean, it's my way of painting, and I was taught by a really good artist named Bonita quite a few years ago now, and she had a little shop up in Worksop where I used to go for classes. She used to teach oils and watercolours and all that kind of thing, so She was the one that said, leave it, don't do anything else with it. Louise, once it's dry, if you want to do another layer, yes, you can go back over it, but just be aware that some are different than others. You'll find some work better than others. The watercolor, by their very definition, they're translucent, so you build the colors up, but you won't. You'll still see what's underneath. Okay, this is, I'm going in with an orange now. Okay. See there, I'm just going to add a little bit more pigment in that bottom section. You see how it starts to feather out, and it's always about drying that brush off, and there we are. And not filling the whole space in with colour, because if you do that, you might as well just sort of go in with a colour and just paint it over completely. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so here we go. I've done all three because this is a bit smaller, and now you've got the idea. I think I can come in and work it a little bit quicker. So don't be afraid of these neons. They're not as scary as they look, and of course any watercolor dulls down a little bit once you've painted it. So there you go. Dry my brush, just touching it round. There we go. And now I think what I'm going to do with this, because I've got a pearlescent orange, here we go, I'm going to bring a bit of pearlescent orange in that bottom section there. There we go. And then just sort of leave it. See, that needs a little bit of a tease, but not all the way. And then of course you see, let's have a look. There we go, here. I've got a dry brush in, I'm just going to clear that off. See, just a bit of water, clean water, dry brush, in it goes. Okay, so far this is looking alright, isn't it? Okay, I mean, I could say I can come in with, you can go over it, tell you what works really well, you can go over it with coloured pencils after it's dry, and that always looks kind of nice. Let's bring a bit of blue in. It's a good one to try. Oh, done the wrong bit with your pen, isn't it? But that's okay. I could show you actually then with that how you can do it on all. You see there with that bit there, in a second, this bit here, there wasn't any water in there, so it's going to go on and not move, you see? So that's okay, as long as you don't let it dry. In with a bit of water, touch the edges, and it's like I planned it. There we go. Alright, a bit more of that blue I think in there. Just to, there you go. Add a bit of definition, liking that. Okay, so again, clean water. There we go. Now if you find you've got a little bit too much water on, then dry your brush off. Now my brush is dry, go back in with the brush and just hold it on the water and then pull it back off again, and that'll soak up some of the water there. Well, we should be tangling today. It's almost turned into a watercolour class, I know that, but I think it was, it's nice that you can see how you can bring your tangles into painting and things, if that's what you want to do. I mean, if you're up to just going in and using your pencil and your tortillon, then of course you'd put your pencil where I'm putting the sort of the heaviest part of the watercolour, and then sort of brush it out from there. Okay, so let's do the right thing this time. Okay, I'm going to go in with, I've got a bit of a green here, let's have a look at that one. Go. I say you could have used all the same colour if you wanted. The neon's kind of nice, isn't it? And then again, back in. Oh, it's gone over a bit. It's because it's quite sort of smaller. That's okay though. What I can do is come on in, look, and just take it up and off. There we go. And a darker green. This is the pearlescent, the darker green in the pearlescence. There we are. Again, drying my brush off it, and I'm just going to touch it. Just to start, giving it a bit of a work there. I think I'm going to bring in... yeah, Rose, to be honest, fill the space, but I went over, you see I've got a line in between the colours I'm using. You see I've left this white line around it. As long as your colours don't meet, kind of thing, you're all right. Just leave a gap between. If I wanted to later, I could come back and add some paint into the sort of spaces that I've missed. See here, it's quite close, but I know that I did that first, so it's probably dry now. There we go. So, colour choice. Oh, I'm going to use this pearlescent pink. There we go. Okay. Don't think that helped. So I'm just dabbing my... Doesn't need much. I tend to use my hand actually more than a paper towel, if I'm honest. It sort of... You end up with like marks over your hands, but it washes off. And you can feel it a bit better than if you did it on a paper towel. So, choice is yours, of course. It's whatever works. There we go. And this is when it's lovely, to add a bit of salt on, because you can see where the salt's going to use the water a little bit and soak it up. There we go. So the trick is not to completely fill the whole shape. Just let the water do the job. It's quite difficult, when you're used to colouring in, because you really want to colour it, but see, I'm going to do all of it now, because there we are, little bits. Okay, I think, yeah, I might go with, I'm going to go with that original colour, I think. There we are, so you're just going to touch it, and then a little bit of the pink. There we go. Okay. Now, if you were to come in with a dryer to dry off your work, and if it's still too wet, you could actually, affect where the watercolour runs. So I'd avoid that. I would, leave it and go and have a cuppa and actually let it dry, and then see how you feel with it. I mean, of course, we could come in and let's use a little bit of orange. Now, this is just sort of pure colour, so I'm not using it as watercolour. And we can pick off some of those little droplets there. So, we can go kind of fine. So they're not even, they're not even like going to blend them or anything. I'm just adding some colour. There we go. And on, these little ones here, just a touch. And again, if you're using your regular pencil, you can choose to go in and fill these with a bit of black ink if you want to. Or, there we are. Oh, I think one more. Oh. Working it round, there we go. I could see it, but I couldn't see it on the camera. That's it. Now, one thing I wouldn't do, there isn't this particular one in the palette anyway, but we've got black on with, of course, with the pen, but I wouldn't use a black watercolour paint. Unless you were doing it for something that wasn't... What it tends to do, it tends to sort of make your colours a little bit colder. And because we've used all these lovely colours and they're nice and warm, we don't want to lose that effect. This is the gold paint, the metallic paint. And I'm just going in and I'm just touching on a couple of bubbles there. Not all of them, just a few. At random. There we are. See, just adding them in there. And then that is almost there. You see, now what's happened with my tile is it's raised slightly. It's sort of bowed a little bit, and you'd expect that because on a good quality paper, so to speak, it's going to do that. But if you leave it, don't try and do anything with it. Just leave it alone and let it dry all on its own. and it'll flatten out, it'll be fine. And then if you want to, as I say, you could go back over with a regular pencil. You could use coloured pencils over it. You could even go back over with your black micron, but not until it's dry, okay? So let's have a look. It's lovely, isn't it? I love how the colours, you know, and how they're starting to sort of give that three-dimensional effect. This one might need a little bit more, but I think this one's worked really well. But if you remember, we added that extra colour in here, and this I suppose is going to be the most focus because it's the largest. This one is sort of more in the background, but let's have a feel. Right, okay, you see that's dry, so let's just do it. We can just sort of finish that off. So again, I'm just going to come over, hang on a second, bit of water. Now just sort of, I'm not going to try and brush it because I don't want it to sort of affect what's underneath. And then I'm going to bring in slightly darker orange and see, just touch it. There we go. So you see that you can still see what's underneath. It's just sort of adding to it. And again, dry my brush off and just sort of move it on a little bit. There you go. And I think I'm going to bring a bit of that darker pink in there, just to sort of give it a hint, just in that middle section. There we go. See, that's better. See how it sort of, yeah, works that way, and it just means you can go in and you can add a little bit more if need be. So although it's watercolour, it doesn't mean you've got to splash colour everywhere. Doesn't mean you've got to use loads of water. See, there's still a little bit, I can sort that. And you know, it doesn't mean that you're going to fill the whole shape. See, I've got lots of white highlights there. So it's a nice little one to perhaps have a little go with your watercolours, whichever you've got at hand. Just give it a go and you can get quite a professional finish with it. So you see it's still a little bit wet in places, but that's fine. I'm just going to leave it to dry. And I kind of like that. It's nice and soft feeling, isn't it? So last thing to do is, there we go, SR. Put my initials on. And that is, oh, that's great, Christine. I'm glad I've done it then. I mean, I know we like to tangle and shade, but I like to show you how we can do other things with it. So, yeah, any watercolour paints you've got will do a similar thing. So, give it a go. So, okay, yeah, congratulations to those people that I've sent an invite to today again for next Friday's session. And I know that places are starting to fill nicely now for the Saturday and Sunday. I do have, as I said at the beginning, one space left for Friday night. Say Friday night, it starts at about 2:30, I think, and it finishes about 7, half 7. So if you're somewhere near and you think, yeah, I'd love to do that, please email me, sandra@sandrarushton.co.uk. And of course, the first person to email is obviously the first person that's going to get that place. It's not going to cost you anything other than you getting yourself here. So, okay, have a good time with this one. Let me know how you get on. Try it with some different colours. And by all means, if you've got pearlescent or metallic paints, you don't need to use a white or cream tile. You can use coloured tiles as well. So have a bit of fun with it. Have a lovely weekend, everybody, and we'll see you again. Actually, I'm going to do another tile on Monday rather than Friday next week, because, of course, Friday next week we'll be doing the event where I'm here teaching anyway. So rather than miss 2 tiles, we'll do one Monday, one Wednesday. So all being well, I will. Yes, you can use the Koizan wood, Joanne. I would use coloured pencils and then them on the top, or I'd go in with a little bit less water, but they'll still work. Okay. Oh, my goodness me. Okay, all done. I will speak to you soon. Have a lovely weekend, everybody, and take care. Okay, bye.